Well, happy Thursday to everybody. Hope you're doing well. We're in the next to last game on the July 6th date here on the West Coast at Anaheim, California for the Boston Red Sox against the California Angels. The next to last game to be played on July the 6th, 1987. Game 566 overall as we get to a near the halfway point in the season. Angels Stadium is symmetrical, so singles are 1 to 5, home runs are 1 to 12. California won this game real world 10 to 7. California comes to the game 40 and 42, Boston 35 and 46. Pitching matchup for today's game, Roger Clemens on the mound for the Red Sox and Jerry Royce, a left-hander, on the mound for the Angels. We'll get to Clemens later, but right now we're focused on Jerry Royce. Good morning, Paul. Jerry Royce in the 1987 season, 4 and 5 with a 5.25 earned run average. On the replay, he's starting out 0 and 2 with a 5.54 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 20 hits, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. He's got a wild pitch of 7, a balk of 0. He is a good hold. He's a -1 hold, but Bob Boone is a -3 hold for a net -4. Not that Boston does a lot of stealing anyway, but it just kind of will deter any threat maybe a guy like Burks might have. So speaking of Burks, he will lead off the ball game for the Red Sox. Ellis Burks comes to the game hitting .286, 9 homers, 23 driven in. He hit .272 in the real season. And of course, before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip. Always refreshing to have the ceremonial first sip before the first pitch. And now I believe everything is in order. And we're ready to go. Ellis Burks leads things off against Jerry Royce. We get a 1-4, and that's going to be a double, straight out double, straight up on his card. No D20 needed. A straight old double for Ellis Burks. 1-4, left-handed, straight old double. Nice way to start the game if you're Boston. Lead off double for Burks. And that'll bring up Marty Barrett, second baseman. Barrett on the replay is hitting .310, no homers, 24 driven in. He hit .293 real world. Let's see if Burks will try to get a lead. It may not be smart, though. Well, they're still going to try it one way or the other. So Ellis Burks, to get a lead, needs a 5 or a 6. And we get an 8, so no lead. All right, so Marty Barrett will go ahead and swing away. That is a 1-7. And that is well, there you go. Didn't take long. 2 batters in, and we get the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game right away. 1-7, right-handed. Ground ball shortstop A. The plus is irrelevant in this case. So it will be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made. I'm sorry, the run's at second, not at first. My bad. I need more coffee, I guess. It's a ground ball to short. Simple as that. I just need more coffee. That's all. I'm behind 1 cup on my coffee and late on my coffee today. That's what I'm gonna blame it on anyway. So it's just a ground ball to short, and Boggs is your batter. Good morning, Dan. Now I realize now, Dan, if I get a call to that I have to take, I'm going to remove this lavalier mic. Won't have the same thing way that happened yesterday. Of course, I edited that video out, so if you didn't see it live, you're not going to know what happened. So brings up Wade Boggs, third baseman. Wade Boggs hitting .358 on the replay, 15 homers, 43 driven in. He hit .363 real world. It's a 1-9 for Boggs, and that's a ballpark blast for Wade Boggs. You don't think of him as a home run hitter, but he did hit 24 home runs in the 87 season. So the ballpark blast is 1-12, and we got a 2-run homer for Boggs. And we do. Wade Boggs, a 2-run home run off of Jerry Royce. Like I say, you don't really think of Boggs as a home run hitter, but in this particular season he was. This is home run number 16 for him on the replay. He had 24 real world. Runs batted in 44 and 45. And the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead on Jerry Royce. And now Jim Rice, who's back in the lineup after being away for a while on the bench and just kind of pinch hitting. Now he's back in the starting role. And Jim Rice steps to the plate. He's hitting 255 on the replay, 6 homers, 36 driven in. He hit 277 real world. That's a 5-3, and that's a ground ball to first, taken up by Joyner, and Joyner will flip it to Royce covering for out number 2. So 2 away for the designated hitter, Don Baylor. Baylor's hitting 228 on the replay, 8 homers, 41 driven in. He hit 245 real world. There's a 4-10, and that's a fly to center. Hauled in by Pettis, and the inning's over. But the 2-run home run from Wade Boggs has given the Red Sox a 2-0 lead and handed that over to Roger Clemens. So let's get the lowdown on Roger Clemens, 1987. Roger Clemens, still a 20-game winner despite holding out at the beginning of the year and not getting some starts in the beginning of the year. He finished 20-9 with a 2.97 ERA. On the replay, he is 8-5, ERA of 3.92. So he's a full run higher on his ERA. It's just been off this year for whatever reason. 138 innings pitched, 135 hits, 41 walks, and 115 strikeouts. He is a +1 on his hold. Sullivan's a 0, so a net +1. His wild pitch is a 3, his balk's a 4. Sullivan does have a pass ball rating of 14, so that's something to be cognizant of if you are the Red Sox. And Brian Downing, designated hitter, will lead things off. He's hitting 301 on the replay, 19 homers, 58 driven in. He hit 272 real world. That's a 3-10, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Spike Owen handles it flawlessly, 1 away. And that'll take us to right fielder Devon White. White hitting 294 on the replay, 14 homers, 53 driven in. He hit 263 real world. That is a 4-8, and that's going to be a strikeout for Clemens, his first. Sure, it won't be his last. 2 down, and here comes Wally World. Wally Joyner hitting 319 on the replay, 20 homers, 58 driven in. He hit 285 real world. Or was it 290? I think it was 280. Yeah, 285 on the real season. 1-9, and he's going to ground it to first. And Evans at first base today will take it to the bag himself. With the left-hander on the mound, they benched Buckner, put Evans at first, and put Benziger in right. That's the biggest change in the Red Sox lineup because of the left-handed starting pitcher. All right, so Clemens goes 1-2. Well, not one. Yeah, he does go 1-2-3 in the first. We go the second. Still 2-0 Red Sox. And Dewey Evans will step up to lead things off. Evans on the replay is doing very well for himself, hitting 348, 19 homers, 58 driven in. He hit 305 real world. 6-12, and that's a ground ball right back to Royce. 1 away for Todd Benziger. Benziger hitting 271 in just 48 at bats. Homer and 4 driven in. He hit 278 real world in 200 plus at bats. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. 3-3, and that's a walk. First walk issued by Royce. Benziger will be held. He won't try to go anywhere. And here comes shortstop Spike Owen. Owen hitting 229 on the replay, homer and 15 driven in. He hit 259 real world. That's a 1. Royce's wild pitch rating is a 7. And he uncorks the wild pitch. That takes the double play out of the equation, at least the ground ball version. And now Spike Owen will step in. 4-6, switch hitter batting right. That's a single to right field. Devon White, though, has a good arm, -3, so Benziger will be given the breaks at third base. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Spike Owen will be held at first, but won't try to go anywhere. And catcher Mark Sullivan, the batter. Sullivan hitting 191 on the replay, 3 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 169 real world. Infield for the Angels, playing for the double play. It's a 312, and they can play all they want. Mark Sullivan just hit a 3-run home run of all people. How do you like that? Mark Sullivan, 312 against the lefty, and that's a solid home run, as solid as can be. He only had 2 home runs all year, real world, and he hits one right here. A 3-run shot off of Royce. Red Sox take a 5-0 lead. 5-0. And for Sullivan, that's his 4th home run. He's already doubled his home run production. He had 2 all of last year. He hits his 4th one in this one. In his 111th at bat, he had 160 at bats real world. So he's definitely hitting the long ball. And it's now a 5-0 Red Sox lead, and Royce may be looking for some relief here shortly. Back to the top of the order in Ellis Burks. 4-5. That's a line out to second. Snagged by McLemore. 2 down. And that'll bring up Marty Barrett. 110, and that is a ground ball to third. The Sensei is there, and that will do it. But the 3-run home run from Mark Sullivan gives the Red Sox a 5-0 lead, and they turned that lead over to Roger Clemens. So at least early on, it's not looking good for the Halos. Clemens out. Usually he's been complaining about lack of run support, but he can't complain about that today. So up for the Angels will be Doug DeSensei. He will lead things off. DeSensei on the replay hitting 249, 11 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 234 real world. 3-6 for DeSensei. It's a home run 1-6, double 7-20. And that's a double for Doug DeSensei. As the Angels try to show some life. I'll bring up left fielder Jack Howell. Howell on the replay is hitting 278, 8 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 245 real world. And that is a 5-11. That's a ballpark single check, 1-5. And that is going to be a line out to second base. So he fails on the home run, on the ballpark check. 1 down for veteran catcher Bob Boone. Boone hitting 220 on the replay. 1 homer, 11 driven in. He hit 242 real world. 2-5 for Boone. That's a ground ball to third, and that'll freeze to Sensei where he is. So Clemens trying to pitch around that double. So far, he's done a good job of it. As the Sensei has not moved from second base. But now we got a clutch situation for Dick Schofield. And in the clutch, he will lose some hits, 1-9, 110, and 3-9. Loses 3 hits there. On the replay, Schofield is hitting 234, 6 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 251 real world. And that's a 1-2, and he's going to foul out to Sullivan, and that will end the inning. So the leadoff double doesn't amount to anything. He played 2. It's still 5-0 Red Sox, and Royce on a very short leash. He'll be facing Boggs, Rice, and Evans. Start the third, but the bullpen for the Angels is active, and their long reliever is Chuck Finley. So Finley is loosening in the bullpen. They're going to try to get a few more innings out of Royce if at all possible. Here's Wade Boggs. He had a 2-run homer his first time up. And that got the ball rolling for the Red Sox. 110, and that's a single. Base hit for Boggs. That'll take us to Jim Rice. They're, of course, not going to hold Boggs on. He's no threat to run. And Rice, the batter. 211 for Rice. That's a strikeout for Jerry Royce. That is his first of the game. 1 away for Don Baylor. Baylor flew to center his first time up. 2-8 for Baylor. Struck him out. So back-to-back strikeouts for Jerry Royce, and that'll bring up Dewey Evans. Evans grounded right back to Royce his first time up. 6-12 is going to ground right back to Royce again. In fact, I think it was the same roll. I think it was the exact same result, 6-12. So he grounds out to end the inning. So the leadoff single by Boggs doesn't amount to anything. Go to the bottom of the third. It's still 5-0 Red Sox. Clemens out. We'll face the bottom portion of the order. Gary Pettis, speedster Gary Pettis, will lead things off. And on the replay, Pettis is hitting 224. No homers, 24 driven in. He hit 208 real world. Switch hitter. There's a 1-5 for Pettis, and he strikes out. Second strikeout for Clemens. One away for the number 9 hitter, Mark McLemore. McLemore hitting 265 on the replay. 3 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 236 real world. 2-7, and that is a 1-9 single. Anything else, he lines it to Barrett. And that's a base hit for McLemore. 1 out single, and that brings back the top of the order. McLemore is going to try to get a lead, see if he can jumpstart the offense. He needs a 4, 5, or 6. And he gets it. He's going to go 18 being held to 16 plus 1 to 17. 1 to 17. And he's in there. Almost got thrown out, but he's in there. At 20, wanted to come up in the worst way, but it did roll over to that 4, so that made the difference because you look awful silly getting caught stealing down 5-0. But if it works, people think it's great, but if it doesn't work, they're going to question you big time. So now Brian Downey, the batter. 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. That will be Spike Owen. He's a 3E17. 3-18. You'll get to that. E17, no problem. So it's a ground ball to short. And let's see here. The 3 and the 17. I think that's a G1. Yep. So the runner on second has to hold. 2 down. And now it's all up to Devon White. In a clutch situation, no less. White in the clutch will lose a couple of hits, 2-8 and 2-11. That's a 3-11 instead, and he strikes out. Third strikeout for Clemens. Second time he's gotten White, and that's going to end the inning. Go to the fourth, it's still 5-0 Red Sox. And again, California won this game real world 10-7. Clemens is determined not to let that happen today. So we go to the top of the fourth, and here's Mr. Benziger. That is a 4-10, and that's going to be a fly ball to Devon White in center. To Gary Pettis in center field. 1 away. For Spike Owen. Owen singled and scored his first time up. 2-6. 2-6 against the lefty is a ground ball to Schofield. 2 down. So Royce seems to have settled back in a bit. And now here's Sullivan, had that 3-run home run his first time up. 3-3, and that's this time it's a fly ball to right plus an injury chance. So Sullivan may be out of here, and that's going to possibly affect Clemens because you're going to lose that pitcher-catcher battery connection. 1-6, he stays in the game. 7-20, we have to bring in Rich Gedman. And Rich Gedman is going to come on and catch because Sullivan is dinged up. Whatever he did, he felt a twinge when he swung or whatever, but Rich Gedman is going to come in and catch now in place of Sullivan. So we have Gedman here. Rich Gedman will come in and catch in the fourth inning for the injured Sullivan. And that'll do it for the Red Sox here in the fourth. 1-2-3 inning for Jerry Royce. So now they go on the computer and bring in Gedman to catch. Mike Greenwell is an emergency catcher, but I really don't think they want to use him. But technically, if something happened to Gedman, Greenwell does catch, but he's not very good. He's a 4+5 E16. So you're talking strict emergency catcher at that point. So Wally Joyner will start us off against Clemens. Joyner grounded out to Evans his first time up. 2-7 for Joyner. That's a 1-4 double. 5-20 is a single. And that is a double for Wally World. Angels had a leadoff double in the second, couldn't get him home. We'll see if that changes in the fifth, or in the fourth, rather. Here's the Sensei. 111, and he hits a fly ball to right field. One away. That'll bring up Jack Howell, left fielder. 1-8 for Howell, and he struck him out. Strikeout number 4. Now Bob Boone is batting in a clutch situation. And Boone in the clutch will lose a couple of hits, 212 and 3-8. So they're in danger of leaving the runner again on second base after a leadoff double. Boone, 4-3. Fly ball left field exits up to Jim Rice. He's a 4-E7. 4-10, he should get to that, I would think. I don't know. That's in the iffy area. 4-10 might actually drop. 4-10 does drop. It's a single 2 stars. That'll score the run. Joyner will come in to score. The Angels are finally on the board. Better left fielder would have caught that, but not Rice. Rice is an E7, so he has to avoid 6, 15, 16, and 18. And that's a 15, so I think that's going to be an error on top of everything it is. It's going to be a 2-base error on top of the single. So 15 there is a 2-base error on an E7. So maybe Jim Rice, a little bit rusty from being away, now he has a 2-base error that will send Boone to third base. RBI single from Boone, but then the 2-base error gets him to third base. And the Angels are finally on the board. And we go to Dick Schofield in the clutch situation. And again, he loses a couple of hits, 1-9 and 110, and also 3-9. That's a 3-10, though, and that's going to be a split. 1-14 is a single. That'll score the run. 15-20 is a line out. And it's a base hit. Scores Boone. That's the lead to 5-2. Clemens not happy about this situation that's going on because right now that's an unearned run, depending on what else happens. Schofield is a chance to get a good lead here. Needs a 4 or 5. Doesn't get it. So that brings up Gary Pettis. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. They were holding Schofield, so that's going to make Spike Owen a 4E17. 4-4, that's a base hit. Single 2 stars, I believe. Yep, single 2 stars, and he's an E17, so he's got to avoid 15, 16, and 17, which he does. But it is a single 2 stars, so now that makes this run earned after all. And now runners at the corners, 2 outs, and Pettis is looking to run. Clemens trying to finish out this inning. Pettis needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. For Mark McLemore in a clutch situation. McLemore in the clutch loses a couple of hits, 2-9, 2-10. 3-8, and that's a strikeout for Clemens. That's his fifth rather. And that will end the inning. But 2 runs come in for the Angels, cuts the lead to 5-2 as we head to the 5th inning. And this will be the fatigue inning for Jerry Royce. Finley has long since sat down, so if they need some relief, they'll go to somebody else, most likely. But right now, Royce is going to see how long he can go. He's done pretty well in the last, let's see, Last 9 batters he's faced, he's retired 8 of them. So only a single by Boggs took that away. So top of the 5th we go, and Ellis Burks, top of the order for the Red Sox. It'll be the 3 Bs, Burks, Barrett, and Boggs. Burks 1 for 2 with a double. 4-8, and that's going to be a single 1 to 10. Line out 11 to 20, and that is a line out to Schofield, 1 away. 1 down for Marty Barrett. 5-9. Ground ball to Macklemore, 2 down. For Wade Boggs, he's 2 for 2, home run and a single. 2-8 for Boggs, and he's going to ground it to Schofield. So 1-2-3 inning for Royce. He will keep full endurance into the 6th. Go to the bottom of the 5th, still 5-2. Clemens back out, and he'll be facing the top of the order, Downing, White, and Joyner, as he tries to regroup from a shaky 4th inning. Downing 0 for 2. He's grounded to Spike Owen twice. 6-4, and this time he's going to ground it to Boggs. Boggs is a 2E16. 2 and a 6, he'll get to that. Third base, E16. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 7, 14, 16, and 18. And 8 is just fine. So Boggs makes the play. Downing is out, 1 away for Devon White. 2-4 for White. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-5 though, and that will fail. So Evans will take it himself. 1 away, or 2 away now actually. Rutherford, Wally World, Wally Joyner doubled his last time up. 6-9, and this time he'll fly it to Burks, and that'll end the inning very quickly. So we played 5 in Anaheim, and the score is still Boston 5 and California 2. Royce has full endurance. He'll start the 6th inning facing Rice, Baylor, and Evans. Rice trying to make amends for that 2-base error, but really with the 2 hits coming, that really didn't affect anything. That run would have scored either way. Rice is also 0 for 2. 2-5, and make him 0 for 3 as he grounds to Schofield. 1 away for the DH, Don Baylor. He's also 0 for 2. That is a 1-8, and that's a base on balls. And for Royce, that is only his 2nd walk. He struck out 2 and walked 2 so far. Baylor, no threat to run, will not be held. And here's Dewey Evans. He's grounded back to Royce twice. We rolled 6-12 on Evans twice. No 6-12. It's a 5-5, and that's going to be an in-home run chance on a 1. Anything else will be a double to center field. And that's what we have, is a double to center field. Pettis is a +1 arm, but Rice just doesn't run that well. He runs at a 12, not being held at a 13. +1's a 4. It'd be a 1 to 14 to send Baylor. 70% chance. But you get 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. I think you're going to take that. So they'll hold Baylor at 3rd base. For Todd Benzinger, the infield has now come in for the Angels. They're in against Benzinger. It should be Benzinger, not Evans. I'm sorry, that was Evans. It just doubled. So it should be Benzinger batting now with the infield in. And we get a 2-7, and that's a single 2 stars, and that's going to probably do it for Royce. Single 2 stars, 2-run single for Todd Benzinger. And Royce is now fatigued. It is 7-2. Spike Owen is the scheduled hitter to come up, but he won't be facing Royce. They will go to the bullpen. Will the Angels? And they will actually bring on Gary Lucas, a left-hander. So Gary Lucas takes over for the Angels. And he's got a relief factor of 3, so he could actually just about finish the game if he's effective. Let's see, Royce is going to go 5 1/3. He's going to walk 2, strike out 2, and he's going to give up 7 hits. Can't say the run 7 right now, but he is responsible for Benzinger. So can't totally close the book on him yet. So let's bring in Lucas on the computer and then check his numbers, replay versus real world. See how he's doing in that scenario. On the real season, Gary Lucas, 1-5, 3.63 ERA with 3 saves. On the replay, he is 2-1, 3.25 ERA and 3 saves, 36 innings pitched, 27 hits, 18 walks, and 36 strikeouts. And he'll start off with Spike Owen. So Owen will keep batting from the right side as we got a lefty for a lefty. Benzinger, that's a 1. So we check the wild pitch rating on Lucas and see what he's got going on. He is a -3 on the hold. So Lucas's wild pitch rating is an 8. So 1 to 8, we have a wild pitch. We do not. So Boone blocks it. And now he'll pitch to Spike Owen. 3-7 against the lefty. There's a fly to left. That's 2 away. And that'll take us to Rich Gedman, rather. Not this will be Rich Gedman's first at bat. First at bat for Gedman since coming in for the injured Mark Sullivan. Gedman on the replay is hitting 193, no homers and 16 runs, batted in. He hit 205 real world. So it's a lefty on lefty matchup with Gedman and Lucas. 1-7, and he will strike out to end the inning. But 2 runs come on, and now we can close the book on Royce. He's going to allow the 7 runs. They were all earned. And he had a rough outing, needless to say. And Roger Clemens certainly given plenty of run support. Can't complain at all on this one. All the run support in the world. And now bring up Doug DeSensei to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Huge uphill climb for the Angels. 4-6. 1 to 10's a double. 11 to 20's a single. We got a leadoff single for Doug DeSensei. He's 2 for 3 in this game. And that'll bring up Jack Howell. Howell is 0 for 2. 2-8 for Howell, and he strikes out for the 2nd time. That'll be the 6th strikeout for Clemens. Brings up Bob Boone. That's a 2-9 for Booney, and he walks. That'll send DeSensei to second base. For Clemens, that's his first walk of the game. 6 strikeouts and now 1 walk for Dick Schofield. Schofield, 1 for 2. 6-4, and that's a ground ball to third base. X Boggs, a 2E11. 2-19, this could be a double play. To G1 is E11 at third. He's got to avoid 6, 15, 17, and 18. I'm sorry, 6, 15, 16, and 17. So 16 is actually a 2-base error. 15 and 17 and 6 are 1-base errors. But that's a 12, so no error there whatsoever. So it will be a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. So Schofield hits into the twin killing. And that completes 6 innings here at Anaheim Stadium with the score still Red Sox 7, Angels 2. Lucas back out, and he'll be facing Burke, Barrett, and Boggs, top of the order. 5-5, and that's a fly to left. One away from Marty Barrett. Barrett, 0 for 3. Grounded out to all outfielders, all infielders. Grounded to third. I'm short, grounded to third, and grounded to second. The only one he hasn't grounded to is Joyner. 4-5, and he's not grounded anybody here. 1 to 10 is a double. 11 to 20 is a single. That's a double for Marty Barrett. He gets his first hit of the game. For the Red Sox, that is their 8th hit of the game. And speaking of hitting, here comes Wade Boggs. 2 for 3. 1-7, and he's going to be 3 for 4. 1 to 16 is a double. 17 to 20 is a single. That's a single, but it's 2-star single. So Barrett will score. It's now 8 to 2 Red Sox. And that'll bring up Jim Rice. 1-7 for Rice, struck him out. Second strikeout for Lucas. 2 down for Don Baylor. Baylor walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2. 3-4 and make him 0 for 3. Grounds it to the Sensei to end the inning, but another run comes in for the Red Sox, and we go to the 7th inning stretch with the score Boston well in control, 8 to 2, particularly with Roger Clemens on the mound. Clemens going for his 9th win of the replay. And he'll be facing the bottom portion of the order. And that will be Pettis, McLemore, and then back to the top of the order for Downey. So Gary Pettis is 1 for 2. 1-9, and that is a base on ball. Second walk issued by Clemens. Pettis normally a base stealer, but down 9 to 2, you just can't take that chance. Here comes McLemore. That's a 2-5, and that's going to be another walk. So back-to-back walks from Clemens to start the 7th inning. A little bit of uncharacteristic wildness. Now Brian Downey's up. 3-4 for Downing. That's a line out right to Barrett. 1 away. For Devon White. 2-7 for White, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 7 for Clemens. So after the first 2 walks, he has retired the next 2, and now just has to deal with Wally Joyner. Joyner's 1 for 3 with a double. In the clutch, Joyner is going to gain 1 hit on 3-7. That's it. Neutral everywhere else. That's a 3-6, not a 3-7. 3-6, though, works out pretty good for our Wally World, I would say. 3-6 is a solid home run against a right-handed pitcher. Look at the close-up here. For Joyner on the 3-6, that's gone. Solid home run, no D20 needed. So Wally Joyner, a 3-run home run for Wally Joyner. So those 2 walks do come home to roost. And now, a little bit more interesting game. It's now 8 to 5. Good morning, Jeremiah. For Joyner, that is home run number 21 on the replay. He had 34 real world. That's home run number 21, RBIs 59, 60, and 61. And it is now an 8 to 5 game. Clemens not too happy with himself. Here's Doug DeSensei. 4-9, and that is a strikeout, his 8th. With a 3-run homer by Wally World tightens the game a little bit. It's now 8 to 5 as we head to the 8th. And it'll be Evans, Benziger, and Owen due up for the Red Sox against Gary Lucas. Evans doubled his last time up. 4-6 for Lucas is a solid single. And now we got more action in the Angel bullpen. Donnie Moore is loosening their bullpen. Here's Benziger. Good morning, RN. That's a 1, so we'll check. I think Lucas, we looked at last time, was an 8. And this time it is a wild pitch for Lucas. So wild pitch moves Evans to second base. Benziger, that's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. Chance for a pass ball on Boone, which is only a 3. So no pass ball. 5-7, switch hitter batting right is a ground ball second base X. That'll get the runner to third base regardless of what happens anywhere else. And second baseman is McLemore. He's a 2. 13, he'll get to that. E22 has to avoid 12, 17, and 18. Flip that one over the edge. Let's do that again. Whoops. Come on. Get over here. 12. No 12. So good play. 4-3 ground out, but the runner does move to third in Dwight Evans, which means the infield will come in. So the infield is in for Spike Owen. Now that the runner has gone to third, they really don't want another run to score if they can help it. Trying to cut that run off. That is a 6-4. That's a catcher X. 6-4 is a catcher X. So we're looking at Boone. Boone is a 1. 1 and a 10. So we'll see what that gives us. 1 and a 10 is a straight old pop out. Assuming there's no error. He's an E14 though. So kind of high error rating there. 3, 12, 16, 17, and 18. And 15, he just gets with it. So it is going to be a straight old pop up to Boone for out number 2. Check it again just to be sure. E14. There is no 15 there. There's a 16, 17, and 18, but no 15. So that'll bring up Rich Gedman in a clutch situation. And against a lefty, he's not rated for any kind of clutch. 1-6, and he grounds it to first. Joyner's got it to end the inning. And that'll do it for Gary Lucas. He did his time, and they'll bring in Donnie Moore to pitch the 9th. Lucas will end up going 2 2/3. And let's see, he gives up 3 hits and a run. And he didn't walk anybody, struck out 2. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Clemens back out. This is his fatigue inning. We're facing Howell, Boone, and Schofield. Unless the Angels want to go to a pinch hitter of some sort. Which I don't think they do, but you never know. Jack Howell is 0 for 3. He struck out twice. 2-8, and he's going to strike out for a 3rd time. He gets the hat trick. Strikeout number 9 was a decent hitter, 245 hitter with 23 home runs, so I wasn't going to pinch hit for him. But apparently Clemens has his number. And here's Bob Boone. It's a 6-5, and that's a strikeout for Clemens. He's coming back with a vengeance here in this 8th inning. 10th strikeout for Clemens, and that'll bring up Schofield. 5-7, and that's a grounder to Barrett. He's a 2E11. 2 and a 17 is good. E11. E11 and a 14 might be okay. E11, yep, 15's the error. 15 and 16 are errors, but not 14. So Barrett makes the play. It's a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th. So Clemens is going to go ahead and finish what he started, apparently. No reason not to. And now Donnie Moore will be coming in for the Angels. And we'll bring him on in the computer and get his numbers on the replay. See how he's doing. So Donnie Moore, real world, 2-2 with a 2.70 ERA and 5 saves. And on the replay, he's 1-3 with an 8.49 ERA, but he does have 6 saves. So he's, had some bad outings that have bumped up that ERA. He's only pitched 12 innings, so all it takes is one bad outing to bump that ERA way up there. 12 innings pitched, 21 hits, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. So this is just a friendly little appearance to see if he can keep, kind of straighten him out and keep the score where it is at the same time. Here's Ellis Burks. Whoop, that one fell out the side. So let's try that again. 4-8, and that's going to be a leadoff single for Ellis Burks. Donnie Moore is a +2 hold, so with Boone's -3, it makes it a -1. So Burks is going to look to try to get a lead. He needs a 5 or a 6 to obtain the good lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. And here's Marty Barrett. He is an A bunter. If they wanted to play small ball, I think they will. I think they're going to bunt here. So bunt number 1 is going to go to, I believe, back to Donnie Moore. 1, yep, goes back to Donnie Moore. He's an A bunter, becomes a B bunter with the corners creeping in, so he needs a 9 or less to make a good bunt. And it's 8, so that's definitely a good bunt. Good sacrifice. Sacrifice hit 1-4. And that'll move Burks to second base. So now he's in scoring position for Wade Boggs. What that could do, though, is they could take the bat out of the hands of Boggs and just walk him, which might be the most prudent move to do. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to walk Boggs intentionally. Take their chances with Rice and Baylor, because Boggs is already 3 for 4. So they're going to walk Boggs. It does set up a double play as well. Now here's Jim Rice, righty on righty. 3-5 for Rice, but that might have been a bad move. Home run 1-10, double 11-20. And that's an 11. It'll be a double for Jim Rice. Double is assumed to go to center field. Boggs will hold at third, but scoring is Burks. An insurance run. It's now a Dolly Parton 9-5 here in California. RBI double for Jim Rice. And that'll bring up Don Baylor. Infield will have to come in with 1 out. 3-8, and that's a walk, and that's going to load the bases. Donnie Moore struggling again. Bases are loaded with 1 out. And Dwight Evans, the batter. Moore is a little bit of a pickle right now. 3-6, and that's another walk. He's going to walk in a run. Third walk by Moore. One of them was intentional, but the other 2 were not. So it's an RBI walk for Dewey Evans. It's now a 10-5 game. And now Boston has turned the tables on California because California scored 10 against them in the real game. And now Boston has turned around and scored 10 against them. Todd Benzinger. They really don't want to use another relief pitcher if they can avoid it, but they might have to. Benzinger is up. The infield is in. 1-9. It may not matter. That's a ballpark blast. 1-12. We got a grand salami, and they'll have to go to somebody else to pitch. 1-12 is a grand salami for Todd Benzinger off the 1-9 ballpark blast. 1-12, it is long gone. 16, it will fail, but it will be a sacrifice fly by default. And that will score Rice, but it could have been a lot worse. Instead of a grand salami, it's just a sacrifice fly. Makes it now an 11. Did I miscount that? Let's see here. 8. Now it's a 10-5 game. Okay. 10-5 game, and here's Spike Owen. 3 runs in the inning so far. Went from 8-5 to 10-5. Owen's in a clutch situation. Still is considered clutch by rule, so he will gain 2 hits, 110, 112. And that's a 1-9, but it'll be a walk. 4th walk issued by Donnie Moore. And now Gedman's up. I think more is going to be lifted. They really didn't want to do that, but they don't want this thing to get hilariously out of phase. So they're going to bring in Chuck Finley just to try to get this final out, as Donnie Moore really struggled. So Chuck Finley is in, and we'll get the numbers on Finley. He will be in to face Gedman. Bases are loaded, 2 outs for Gedman. For Chuck Finley, he is coming in. Finley on the replay is 3-5 with 2 saves, a 3.64 ERA, 59 innings pitched, 51 hits, 30 walks, 41 strikeouts. He was 2-7 with a 4.67 ERA real world. So his job is to get out Rich Gedman and get this game over with, pretty much 6-6, and he'll do it with a strikeout. So Finley comes in and strikes out Gedman to end the inning. So a third of an inning for Gedman, 2/3 of an inning for Moore. He gets the strikeout. Moore walks 4. Didn't strike out anybody. The only outs Moore got were 2 sacrifices, a bunt and a sacrifice fly. And he only gave up 1 hit, but all those walks, he gave up 2 hits, but all those walks counted against him and counted for those 3 runs. So Clemens looking to finish what he started. No reason not to. He's ahead 10-5. And he'll be facing Pettis, McLemore, and Downing to finish things out. Gary Pettis, 1 for 2, a walk, a single, run scored. Oh, it's 11-5. For some reason, the computer, for some reason on the computer, I think when I did my thing here, it didn't give him the run scoring. So computer is saying it's 10-5, but you're right, it is 11-5. Computer is off by 1 number because apparently when I was typing in the thing, I forgot to give Barrett the run there. So I'll have to go in and add an RBI to Boggs' stats, add a run scored to Barrett's stats, and add a run allowed to Gary Lucas's stats. So Lucas is actually going to give up, let's see here. No, it's 11, so it gives up the 1 run. I got him here as a 1 run. So, all right. So I'll fix all that later. Right now, Gary Pettis, 1-6, and he's going to fly to center. Burks hauls it in, 1 away. But Clemens is just going to cruise to a complete game victory, get his 9th win. McLemore, 3-6, and he strikes out. That's strikeout number 11 for Roger Clemens. And now here's Brian Downing. 0 for 4 for Downing. 4-7, and he might get a base hit on a 1-2. Anything else he lines to Owen, the game's over. And he lines to Owen, that'll do it. 11-5, the final. And let's see here. I think I'm off on the hits. Let me double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, 12 hits seem to be right. Okay, so we'll go with it. 11 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Angels. For the Red Sox. Actually, Red Sox had 1 error. That was Jim Rice's error. Angels didn't have any errors. So for Clemens, he goes the distance, gives up 8 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. So it wasn't his best outing in the world. Walked 3, struck out 11. So we'll go to the box score and just finalize this. Get you set up for tomorrow's game, for Friday's finale of the week. And so with the victory. Boston improves to 36-46. California drops to 40-43. Clemens improves to 9-5. Royce drops to 0-3. And let's see here. All right, so we go to tomorrow's game to finish out the week. I've got two to pick from on the West Coast. I got to figure out which one I want to play. Either Milwaukee at Seattle or Detroit at Oakland. Both are good matchups. Both are pretty good matchups there. I think we will go with Oakland, Detroit and Oakland. It'll be Walt Terrell against Dennis Lamp. That'll be the matchup there. Or we got Bill Wegman in Milwaukee at Seattle, Mike Morgan. Ooh, that's a tough call either way you go. I'm thinking more I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking more about Milwaukee and Seattle. So I think we're going to do Milwaukee and Seattle tomorrow. Hello, Dr. D. So tomorrow's game, Milwaukee at Seattle. And tomorrow's game will be somewhat of a benchmark, as it will be game number 567, which is exactly half of the total replay. There are 1,134 games in this replay, and 567 is the exact middle. So tomorrow will be the exact 50% clip in the replay, halfway there. And then we'll be on the downhill slide going after that. So tomorrow will be the halfway point. And again, we'll be in Seattle. We'll be in the Kingdom for the Brewers and the Mariners. It'll be Bill Wegman for the Brewers and Mike Morgan for the Mariners. I will play Detroit and Oakland offline, as well as the White Sox and the Orioles, which I've already played offline. So the White Sox and Orioles I've already played. White Sox won that one. No surprise there because the Orioles are terrible. So I'll play Detroit over the weekend. I'll play Detroit and Oakland offline, but tomorrow will be the halfway point, 567, Milwaukee and Seattle. Tonight will be the final game of the San Diego series with Colorado, as Colorado tries to salvage one of those games on the homestand before they hit the road to Texas and Arizona. That'll be tonight around 9:15ish or so. So that's what's on the agenda. Tomorrow, we'll have the third round coverage of the Memorial Tournament in Dublin, Ohio, Jack Nicklaus's place. There were only 70 players invited to the tournament, or that played in the tournament, or appeared in the tournament. So we're not going to have a cut round. There's first and second round will be bypassed because there is no cut. Going straight to the third round with 70 golfers, which is what you need in History Maker Golf. So we'll go right to the third round on Friday, and then the final round on Sunday. And then the following week will be the U.S. Open at Oakmont, Pennsylvania. So Scotty Scheffler was the winner last week at the Charles Schwab Challenge, and he's the defending champion, or the real champion, at the Jack Nicklaus course. He won that tournament in 2025, the Memorial. So that's what's on tap for tomorrow. We have 3 games tomorrow. We have Seattle, Milwaukee in the morning. We have the golf in the afternoon, and then we have the Rockies will be in Texas to take on the Rangers to start a 6-game road trip. That'll be tomorrow night. But tonight, it's going to be the Rockies and the Padres, final game of the series. And it'll be Nick Pivetta for the Padres against, I believe, German Marquez for the Rockies. So hope you all have a great rest of your day. The weather out there is beautiful, so I'm either going to cut the grass today or tomorrow. They're both going to be identical as far as nice weather. So I just got to figure out which day I want to mow the lawn. So that's about it from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.